Good morning, Bible class. It's Mrs. Bridges again today. I'm not going to be your Bible teacher every day. You just get me again today. In fact, tomorrow is going to be Pastor Jason. I know you're going to really like that, so you can look forward to that tomorrow. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a verse in Ephesians 6. Most of you probably know Ephesians 6, verse 1. It says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right." If you've ever been in my class, I know you've probably heard me talk about children obeying your parents and how important that is. I like to talk about how obedience means that you do it immediately when your parents say to do something. Obedience means completely. You do everything they asked you to do. And it means with a good attitude. Immediately, completely, and with a good attitude. You've heard me say that before. Today, though, I'm going to talk about the next verse, Ephesians 6:2. Ephesians 6:2 says, "Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with a promise." It's an interesting thing. Honor your father and mother, which was the first commandment. We have to go back to the Old Testament to talk about this commandment thing. Now, if you were in my class last year, we talked about how the children of Israel, they came out of Egypt and they were wandering around the desert. And Moses went up on the mountain and God gave him 10 commandments. You guys probably know those commandments. I've got them here. Let's see. You shall love the Lord your God. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make any idols. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not commit murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet. Well, honoring your father and mother, God has put in the midst of some pretty important other things. Not having any other gods before him, not committing murder, not stealing. Obviously, God thinks this is very important because he put it with his 10 commandments. The interesting thing is, in all the 10 commandments, they all are just commands. They just tell you what to do. Don't steal. Don't commit adultery. Don't bear false witness, which means lie. And then there's just one that has a promise with it. And that's this one, honor your father and mother. So it says, honor your father and mother so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God has given you. It's the only one that he gives a promise to. So back then, God says that the children of Israel, if you honor your father and mother, then you're going to live a long life. Now, God doesn't promise us the same thing, but clearly he thought this was very, very important. So if God thinks it's very important, we should think it's very important. So let's talk about what honor means. So let's go back to Ephesians 6:2. Honor your father and mother. What does honor mean? Honor means to value someone, to respect them, to treat them with respect, to speak kindly to them, speak kindly about them. It's a hard thing to do. I was a kid once too, I remember. It's hard to both obey and honor your parents sometimes because sometimes they tell you to do things that you don't like to do. I remember my kids too. It's easy for them to obey when they're doing something that they want to do. But it's hard to obey when you're doing something you like to do and then your parents tell you to do something different. Or they ask you to do something that you don't want to do. It's hard. But God is very clear about this in the Bible. Children, obey your parents. Honor your father and mother. The honor part, though, goes a little further. Not only obey them, but do it in a respectful way because you know that they're valuable, because you know that God has put them in authority over you. That's why honoring your parents is important because God has placed them in authority over you. So what are some things you can do to honor your parents? You can thank them for the things that they do for you. You can speak kindly to them. You know, I always find it interesting. All of you that have been in my class, pretty much everybody that's watching this video has been in my class. And I write on your report cards that you're respectful to adults. Most of you get E's in that because you guys really are respectful to me. And your parents come to their parent-teacher conferences and they say to me, "Really? My kid is respectful to adults?" I'm like, "Yeah, they're always respectful." They're like, "Really? Because they're not like that at home." Is that you? Are they talking about you? Are you disrespectful to your parents at home, but you're respectful to me in class? Well, then I know you can do it. So think about that. Even when your parents tell you to do something that you don't want to do, give them a good attitude and do what they ask you to do. Even if they do it, sometimes parents don't even do it in the right way. I remember yelling at my kids and telling them, "You need to do this," and I'm upset with them for some reason. even if your parents don't do it in a way that you like, it's still the right thing to do what they ask you to do and have a good attitude, a respectful attitude to your parents. So I'm going to give you a little challenge here. Last week I did this with my 3rd and 4th graders, and I'm going to do this with all of you this week, all 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an opportunity to nominate your parent as Parent of the Week. So I want you to write me an email nominating your parents for Parent of the Week. Say, I, Mrs. Bridges, nominate my parent, and then I would say their name, and here's the reasons why. I don't want you to just say because they're kind, or because they're nice, or because they do good things. I want you to think of something specific that your parents have done for you. Something that they did. Maybe they bought you something to help you through this hard time. Maybe they did something really special with you, took you camping in the backyard, or they took you to some special dinner, or they made a special dinner for you. Think of some things, really think about some way that your parent has done something for you, and then nominate them. And what I'm going to do is everyone that sends me a nomination for their parent, I'm going to put their parent's name in a big bowl, and I'm going to draw one out. And one of your parents is going to get a gift card to Jimmy's, a $20 gift card to Jimmy's. And that's for them because you nominated them. And just to give you a little more incentive to do this, whoever's parent's name gets drawn out of the hat, you get a free homework pass. Mrs. Soames said that you can use it for your literature questions or I think she said a math assignment. I'll have to check with her for sure on that. For you in 5th and 6th grade. You in 3rd and 4th grade, you know there's a lot of things you can use that for. So think about it. Do you have to do that? No, you don't have to do it. But I'd sure like to see a lot of you do it. Send me an email. Say, I nominate my parent. Tell me their name. Tell me what they did. And then sign your name to it. All right. I hope I'm going to see a lot of those coming in. It's good for you to think about why your parents deserve the honor and respect that you give them. All right. Have a good rest of the day.